Could a potential monumental swap deal be on the cards between these two strikers? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is all about what the football world is talking about today. The big breaking news that is buzzing around the world of football is that both Chelsea and Napoli are said to be locked in negotiations for a potential swap deal between Chelsea's Romelu Lukaku and Victor Osimhen of Napoli. What a potential move this could be for both clubs. This could be huge in what has been a transfer window that has been so far very underwhelming, very boring, very dull, very sluggish, very slow. This could finally be the big splash, the giant wave that we've been waiting for in terms of this transfer window getting exciting and heating up. And I'm not just saying that from the point of view of maybe a Chelsea fan or a Napoli fan, but also from football fans in general, like myself, of course, who doesn't really have a horse in this race because Liverpool aren't involved, but just want to see some excitement this summer. We finally may get that in a monumental swap deal that could potentially be on the cards. We're going to be talking about this deal. We're going to be talking about what the in-the-know journalists claim to know about this deal. We're going to be talking about Lukaku. We're going to be talking about Osimhen. We're going to be talking about Chelsea, about Napoli, and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Use and abuse that comment section, people. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down there. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings will all be great and interesting to read, of course. So please do get involved down there. Would love to hear from you all on this potential transfer story. But without further ado, let's go on with the video. Let's talk Victor Osimhen, Romelu Lukaku, and a potential swap deal between these two strikers. Look, in a nutshell, I think this is massive for Chelsea. And I see very little wrong that can go wrong for the Blues in this scenario if this obviously is to all come to fruition and this is all to happen. For those of you who don't know the situation, basically Chelsea see no future for Romelu Lukaku at all at Stamford Bridge. They want to get rid of him. They've had to make do with a couple of loan spells back to Italy and Serie A, where Lukaku seems to be enjoying himself and enjoying his football. So makes sense that obviously Napoli have come in for him, another Serie A team. And as for Victor Osimhen, he seemingly wants out of Napoli. He's been there for a while. He spearheaded Napoli towards Serie A glory a couple of years ago, of course. He is an insane striker. He's an absolute killer in front of goal. And it seems that a potential swap deal could be on the cards between these two. Now, what obviously entices this deal even more is the fact that there has been a lot of speculation surrounding Romelu Lukaku this summer over a permanent move away from Stamford Bridge. And Napoli's name has been mentioned a number of times because the Napoli manager is Antonio Conte. And allegedly, Antonio Conte wants to work with Romelu Lukaku again going forward. At the same time, Victor Osimhen, his future has been very much up in the air this summer, with him seemingly wanting away from Napoli, and he's been constantly linked with a move to PSG, where despite seemingly agreeing personal terms, the deal has seemingly stalled because the two clubs seemingly can't agree on a transfer fee for the Nigerian striker. That stalling has seemingly opened the gateway for Chelsea to maybe try their luck, and it seems that if reports and things are to be believed, both of those clubs are seemingly now locked in negotiations over a potential swap deal of sorts between these two strikers. And it makes perfect sense. If one team has got something that the other team wants, and vice versa, a swap deal being on the cards is not out the realms of possibility. Very rarely happens, but we could be seeing it here. And you know, maybe journalists may see it as, or may word it as two separate deals. We both know it's a swap. What would be the point in two separate deals when you can just have a bit of a swap and a part exchange deal? That would obviously be what is going to be happening in this scenario. The journalists in the know are seemingly claiming that this could obviously advance very swiftly. Fabrizio Romano has stated that Napoli keep looking for solutions for Victor Osimhen as they want to bring in Romelu Lukaku as soon as possible. He understands that Napoli could also be open to discussing Osimhen as part of Lukaku talks with Chelsea. Osimhen said yes to PSG, but deal in standby between the two clubs. Now, of course, the only thing that PSG would have over Chelsea, you would imagine, is Champions League football. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Osimhen would choose Chelsea over PSG, with Chelsea only having Europa Conference League football for at least this season, depending on obviously how they do. David Ornstein, though, tweets out this morning, Napoli in ongoing talks with Chelsea to sign Romelu Lukaku, while discussions between Napoli and Chelsea also taking place about move for Victor Osimhen in opposite direction. Lukaku will be permanent, Osimhen season-long loan plus buy option. Ben Jacobs has also stated that that buy option could be optional if Chelsea don't claim Champions League football for the following season, or obligatory if, of course, Chelsea manage to claim Champions League football for that season. So we obviously don't know the full ins and outs of it right now. It seems that obviously talks are still ongoing, negotiations are still in play, and the finer details are still to be ironed out. But those are what the in-the-know journalists are saying about this deal. And I'll go back to it. I cannot see a world in which this is a bad thing for Chelsea. I really, 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 really can't. Lukaku has been a guy that they've wanted to get off their books for a while. And they have the potential of doing that permanently this time around than they have before. Wage bill takes a giant chunk back into it. A place in the squad gets obviously left vacant. Victor Osimhen coming in, massive upgrade on Lukaku in my opinion. Victor Osimhen coming in, 27, I believe he's 27 years of age, could be 28. In his prime, absolutely killing it in Serie A right now. And especially if it is going to be for an initial loan with an option to buy, I don't see a world in which this is a bad thing for Chelsea. I really, really don't. Now, earlier on today, I put out a video that basically said I was worried about Chelsea and I thought that they were in the mud. And don't get me wrong, if Osimhen does go to Chelsea, this doesn't fix all of Chelsea's issues. But it does fix one major issue that has been plaguing this Chelsea side for years. And that is the absence of a recognised, lethal and consistent number 9 striker. They've tried and tested lots of different players in the past. None of them have quite lived up to the likes of your Didier Drogba's and your Diego Costa's, with Costa being, in my opinion and from my recollection, the last real decent striker that Chelsea bought, and obviously proved that with the goals that he had scored in that particular season. This guy fixes that problem. This guy is a lethal finisher in front of goal. This guy is a killer. This guy has got ice running through his veins. We've seen it time and time again for Napoli, whether it be at a domestic level in Serie A or whether it be a Champions League level. This guy is it. And Chelsea, of all teams, Chelsea, Europa Conference League Chelsea for at least this season, are on the verge of maybe striking a deal with Napoli for this guy. This guy who played 133 games for Napoli, scoring 76 goals and assisting 18 times, could be on the verge of joining Chelsea. A player who made 25 Serie A appearances last season, scoring 15 goals and assisting 3 times, could be on his way to Chelsea this summer. That's massive for Chelsea. And like I say, if this is going to be for an initial loan period, Chelsea have got nothing to lose. They win by getting rid of someone that they don't want on their books anyway, on a permanent basis, not just a loan basis this time around, on a permanent basis, and they bring in Osimhen, who is a killer in front of goal, is absolutely insane when it comes to goal scoring, and basically should solve their problem that they've been having for a number of years. Whether it be under Thomas Tuchel, whether it be under Graham Potter, whether it be under Frank Lampard or even Maurizio Pochettino of last season. The one thing we have constantly said, the common thread of all of those managers, is that no matter what kind of football they were playing, whether it was good or bad, the chances were there to be put away, and Chelsea just did not have a player to do that. This guy solves that problem, or should solve that problem. Now, of course, nothing is ever a foregone conclusion in football. Nothing's ever a dead cert. Nothing's ever set in stone. This guy may not replicate his form from Serie A to the Premier League. This guy may have problems blending into the Chelsea side. This guy may have problems adapting to the physicality and the intensity of the Premier League. There is a slim chance that this guy may not be able to hit the ground running or to even thrive and feast in the Premier League. But I would be solidly betting that he does. I would bet safe money that this guy is going to be a monster in front of goal. I would bet safe money that this guy is probably going to at least bag Chelsea anywhere between 20 and 25 goals next season. Or for future seasons to come. And even if it doesn't work out, it's an optional loan. It's a loan with an optional buy clause at the end of it. Assuming, obviously, they don't implement the whole obligatory thing. Assuming it's optional, they don't have to buy him. The ball is firmly in Chelsea's court on what they do. They can either keep him, or they can send him back to Napoli, and he's Napoli's problem, and they can look elsewhere for a new striker. It's a win-win for Chelsea. They get rid of a guy that they don't want, and that Napoli do want, and Antonio Conte in particular definitely wants. And they bring in a guy who's one of the most dynamic strikers in the modern day game, one of the most lethal finishers in the modern day game. They bring him in, and it fixes a massive problem at Chelsea. I cannot see this being a failure for Chelsea in any way, shape or form. I think they are somewhat fortunate to be able to strike this deal, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. You've got to be there, and you've got to obviously be in with a shout to win it, and that is exactly what Chelsea could be doing with winning this race. Does this now obviously mean that PSG might not speed things up a bit? Maybe this forces PSG's hand a little bit in negotiations, potentially. Obviously, this is not a done and dusted deal. PSG could still rise to the occasion at the 11th hour and come in with a bid that Napoli will have to accept. Where does Victor Osimhen see himself? Will it be with Chelsea? Will it be with PSG? Obviously, there are a lot of factors still in play here, but this could be massive for Chelsea. If this actually does come to fruition, if this gets pulled off by the Blues, this could be massive. And like I said earlier that this side is seemingly in the mud before a ball is even kicked this season. This is an optimistic signing. This is an exciting signing. Does it fix all of Chelsea's problems? Of course not. There are still other problems at Chelsea. There is still an experience issue with Chelsea. There is still holes and places in that squad that need beefing up and upgrading upon. Of course there is. But this is a hell of a start to a side that is in need of getting rid of some dead wood and also bringing in upgrades. And that is exactly what they potentially may get in this potential swap deal. A little bit jealous of it, obviously, from the outside looking in. But at the same time, from a football fan point of view, in a transfer window that has been pretty boring, it is somewhat interesting and exciting to watch from afar. The potential of this swap deal potentially taking place. Win-win. Win-win for Chelsea, no matter what happens, seemingly. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever they call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the potential swap deal taking place between Chelsea and Napoli, between Romelu Lukaku and Victor Osimhen? Is this a good move for Chelsea? Is it a bad move for Chelsea? Is it good for Napoli? Bad for Napoli? What do you make of it? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in that comment section. Use and abuse that comment section. People would love to hear from you all on this potential transfer story. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.